Hello guys, welcome to Tutorials Point. We are in the middle of video lectures on Android application development. Here we will be studying about how do we develop applications for Android. In the last lecture, we have seen how do we run our Hello World application onto our AVDs. But you were unaware about the process, about the folder, and about the project structure in Android. But this video would make you aware about all these things. So this is all about Android project structure. Now, if you go to your studio project structure, you would be seeing a similar type of structure. Just navigate yourself to the project from this drop-down menu. On going to the project, you would be finding such a structure wherein you would be having a folder named as app. In this folder, you would be finding a folder of build, a folder of libs, a folder of src, and a res folder, along with a manifest file. These things are the parts of the application which we would be using frequently in the upcoming lectures. Now let's have a quick session about what these things are all about. So the build. Now what is the build? All the files that are there that have been generated out of our Java files come as a part of the build. Even your application, after being compiling, the APK file that we get comes as a part of the build. So if I see that in the output, the APK is a part of the build, the APK file that we get. And you all are very much aware that we as programmers, as developers, always distribute our APKs to the user. So I think you have got about build. Now you will be finding some more folders in the build as generated, intermediates, and output. I have told you about the generated ones, the files that are generated automatically from the Java to the dot class files. Output are our APK files. Now let's come to the next part, or the next session, or the next module, which is the libs. Now what are libs? See, imagine you want to use an existing library. See, a library of reading an XML, a library of sending some email. All these libraries are predefined and are available as jars to you. So as a developer, you just go to your libs folder, you import these jars, and now you are good, and you can automatically include all your jars over here. The jars included over here would give their functionality in your Java class, where you can use these functionalities to produce your code. This makes the Android application easier from the developer point of view. Now, the next is the src folder. If you can see properly, under the src folder, under the main, we are getting the option of Java and res. Let's come to Java first of all. I think you're very much aware what Java is and what does Java stand for. We have been hearing this term very frequently, and very often we have found that to learn Android application development, you need Java. But where do we use Java? All the Java that we use or that we need is actually written in this Java folder. In this Java folder, you are given a sample, or I can say a normal package, which is a unique identifier of your application. This identifier is having a Java file, or can have multiple Java files, which you would be using for your coding in your daily purpose. All the application code is in this particular Java file. We also call them the activity files. We will be covering them in the upcoming sessions. So after the src main Java, we have the next one, which is src main res. As the word res is very clear, what does the word res means? Res means some resources. Now what are the resources for you? Resources are nothing but small packages or small individual components that stand alone. Say I'm using an image background for my application. Where do I store that thing? I'm using a UI or XML. Where do I store that thing? The icon of my application. Where do I store all these things? All these things are actually saved into your resource or the res folder. Res means resources, and if you can look over here, res is having these all stuff. What is it in res? Drawable. Drawable are the normal images that you are having. Say a background image, a image that you are loading from the internet. Anything that's a static image component is there in the drawable. Then the layout. Now what is a layout? As we have already seen that, and we have seen that there was an XML file which we named as activity_main.xml. That XML file is there in this layout folder. What is this XML all about? This XML is nothing more than the UI of the application. Whatever user interface you see, the login page, the news page, any page on an application that you are seeing is the part of this layout file. This layout folder is the holder of all the XMLs or the UI that we are having in our application. It can be as small as a small button which is being called into the another XML, or can be as large as the entire page itself. After this layout, we are having some mipmaps. Now, what are mipmaps? Mipmaps are the icons that we are having over here. If you look at it, these are having some configuration or some pixel density as HDPI, MDPI, XHDPI, and XXHDPI, and so on. Now, what are these? These stands for high density pixel intensity. Now, the same application will be running on an Nexus 5, and same application would be running on a small smartphone or a very basic smartphone. How do we differentiate? Are they having the same resolution? No. Based on the resolution, we can choose which icon do we need to use for the application. So after this, we are having the values folder. The values folder are basically some static components or some static files or some static values that you are having. Say the name of the application. Say, like in this example, the hello world, or I am having some string component that I'm going to be using. So any static component